think we're live. I think the microphone's working. I think the camera's working. The internet's an amazing thing. I just got to get my Canada pillow all displayed over here. Welcome back, Pokey Minch Dudley. Hope you folks are doing all right. So, Pokey, I take it you've played through Chapter 2 by now yourself as well? And Dudley, you said you were watching another playthrough? Hey, Gent, what's going on? Waving at Karma Jolt. Had a pinball league, so that sounds delightful. Uses pillow fluff. It's mega effective. Yeah. Hey, Arson, thank you. If I can just take a quick minute, because I don't want to dive head first right into the whole Snowgrave thing. 1 minute into the stream before people can get here, because I'll just be repeating myself. But if I could just take 1 second to YouTube, if I'm going through your online webcam live stream feature, could I please be able to modify my camera after we go live? Because, what if this gets unplugged? What happens? It's just mute? We're just muted for life? Or does it switch back to the other microphone with no way to bring it back? It seems like a really strange setting that I can't... Because if I went through XSplit, I could modify the microphones all I want, constantly. Why is this not... In 2021, why is this not a feature that I can modify on YouTube once I go live? Mr. Axelot, what's happening? Rafrix, what about Discord? Has anyone read The Stand on Zanzibar? What's Zanzibar? Isn't Zanzibar Land an organization in Metal Gear? Still haven't tried the game at all, but plan to eventually. So as it says in the title, spoilers obviously for Deltarune. So if you don't want the new one spoiled at all, not sure why you're here. But I more want to discuss the Snowgrave Run. Which, like I said, or did I even say yet? It's basically Deltarune Chapter 2's Genocide Run. But I don't really want to get too deep into it until we have a few minutes on the stream here. Pixel powered up. What's going on? But I think Toby Fox has outdone himself with this run. It does have me thinking about some crazy ideas, though, about maybe stuff that you could do in regards to it. Leave it to the Undertale fandom to find this. It's not... I'd say it's more obtuse to find than the Genocide Run. Yet someone managed to find it 2 days later. Zanzibar is an actual place that could hold all 7 billion people if everyone stood shoulder to shoulder. Is that what you mean? Read The Stand on Zanzibar? That everyone in the world could stand in Zanzibar? You mean that specifically? I'm also feeling like I kind of want to play through Chapter 1 again. Even though I don't think that you'll be able to do go on a similar genocidal rampage in Chapter 1. But I'm curious if the Steam version has either new content in it at this point, or if there's anything that kind of alludes to what's happening. I mean, I guess I could start saying stuff. People are all over those, yeah, Genocide Run. Apparently playing the game nonstop since release, trying everything possible. Because, like, for me, it kind when I heard it's like, "Oh, there's, like, one ending," okay. But I guess when it was typed out, it was like, "One ending?" question mark? So that's kinda making me wonder how that works. Oh, it's a book. It's an eerily accurate in its outlook on modern day society. Oh, no. That's never good. So, like, I don't find it surprising that people tried to find, like, a genocide run of some sorts. I'll detail the steps here in a minute, but the guy likes music and video games. How are you? What's good? Doing good. Well, rather than me sitting here silently for like 10 more minutes, I'm just gonna get into it a little bit. So the other day, as you may very well know, I played Deltarune Chapter 2 myself, thoroughly enjoyed my experience. And again, if you're in this chat, I'm presuming you either have played it or don't care about spoilers. So I'm just the spoilers. I'm gonna let them fly. Played Guitar Hero on Twitch. How'd that go? YouTube seems impressionable. If they haven't. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's really complained about it. I just didn't realize you couldn't. I thought you could change it, but like the edit thing is different now. I think I could have changed it before, but now I can't. Probably not going to play it anyway. But, like, thoroughly enjoyed it. The boss fight with the queen. Oh man, I want an entire RPG with punch out physics. I would love that to death. And then with like the actual ending where Chris slashes his mom's tires, so, like, why? Like, you know how in chapter at the end of chapter 1, Chris throws the heart into the bird cage. But then at the end of chapter 2, it's like, "Oh, ate the pie." So it's like, "Oh, how whimsical." But then this time around, regardless of what you do, Chris goes outside, slashes Toriel's tires, which I don't understand at all. Like, that's an incredibly petty thing to do. Like, if it was like, "Oh my god, he murdered somebody," that would make sense to me. Simply slashing the tires doesn't make sense to me. Hey, KJ. Spoilers never stopped me before. Okay, good. Unless it was something along the lines of, "I don't want her leaving, so I'm gonna slash the tires." And then it seems like the next chapter, you're gonna be going directly into a dark world, but it's going to be in your house. So we'll see how that turns out. But, like, really what I wanna talk about is the Snowgrave Run that I have in the title. So in case you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, Snowgrave Run, there's no, like, official name for it yet. I guess in the, um the files, it's called the Weird Run. But people are just kinda calling it Snowgrave. I like the sound of Snowgrave. I think it kinda fits. But, like, normally in Deltarune, when you kill a monster, it just runs away. You can't actually kill stuff. It runs away. You can get stronger. You still get experience, all that. But with the Snowgrave Run, you go through the computer part as normal until you get to the part where you recruit Noel. Then, in order to actually activate it, what you need to do is as soon as you recruit Noel, you immediately turn around and go all the way back to that door that you would use to speak with Spamton. but make sure that you as Chris block, do nothing but block. Just don't even try to attack. You don't want the enemies to run away. But what you do is you get Noelle to cast Ice Shock. She has a spell Ice Shock. And if you kill, I shouldn't even be quotation marks, air quotes. If you use Ice Shock on an enemy, sometimes it takes more than one, but it will freeze them. They can't run away. They're frozen in place. And then when the battle's over, they stay put. So you have to make sure on the way back, you freeze all the enemies, go to the door, and then, like, continue about the way you're going. So you want to make sure you freeze all the enemies. It's still up to debate how much you have to, like, how much of the dialogue you really need to do. But one thing you need to do for sure is, if you remember the playthrough I did, you can get to a certain vendor, and if you talk to them, they're like, "Oh, are you two like a couple or whatever?" But if you say to them rather than your friends that you're something else, they'll be like, "Oh, instead of some dating shoes, do you want a freeze ring?" Which I find a little odd in and of itself. Like, why are they trying to, like, is Scampton somehow possessing these salesmen to get the freeze ring in your inventory? But from what I understand, no matter what, it's going to be like $1 more than you have. So what you do, you have to pressure Noelle into, I don't know what she actually does to the salesman. It goes dark and then they're gone. So I don't know why you don't just freeze them in place. But you take this freeze ring, and then from there, if you get back to the part with the cars, yeah, it's already sounding like a creep. Yeah. If you, then when you get to the part with the cars and the levers, like where you would normally go to get run over by the Toby Fox in a dog in a car and get like the game over screen or whatever. If you go that way and talk to the garbage can, it's basically like, you have to come back here when there's this many monsters left. And if there's 4 left, you've done it correctly up until that point. So you want to continue playing the game until you freeze over 4 more monsters. And from there, you go back to that dumpster, and he gives you what's called a thorn ring, which I didn't realize this at first until I watched the video, but, like, when you equip it, like, it causes Noelle damage, which that, like, the whole thing kind of bothers me, but, like, that itself bothered me in, like, a different capacity. Because the catch with the thorn ring is it makes your ice magic cost half as much. So it's like you're hurting her. So you can have access to this ability to make ice magic cheaper. Anyway, from here you continue on. There's more to it, but I just kind of want to get to the point. So when do I plan to do this? I don't want to do this. I'm probably going to do a modified version of this because I'm thinking about something here. But just continue playing through the game. It's if you're familiar at all with like Genocide Route, you could probably get a general idea. It's just this total, overarching feeling of not good. And then you get to what normally is the Birdly fight. Like you fight him anyway, but when you get to the Birdly fight this time, he can really tell something's wrong. But what you want to do here is you basically pressure Noelle into fighting him again. But then you have to block until you have max TP, so you can cast a spell that, if you don't have the Thorn Ring, costs 200%, which obviously you don't have 200%. So you'll have 100%, but you'll have access to a spell for this fight only called Snowgrave. And it's like 100% and it's fatal. It's not actually in the... What? What do you mean? It is in the game, yeah. But what you're supposed to do is get her to use the Snowgrave spell, and she really doesn't want to use it, but you keep going yes, 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 yes until she's like, okay, fine, you want me to use it, use it. Then she casts the spell, freezing Birdly in place. And the description in the spell says it's fatal. And then from there, you actually get a different final boss. You don't do the queen fight at all. You just progress through the mansion, the castle, and that's a bit different. But I'm gonna gloss over it because that's to me right now that's not important. But you go all the way back to where you would fight Queen, but then you go beyond that to where you would fix the Dark Fountain. But then you fight Spamton Neo by yourself rather than with your party members, which seems to be a bit of a tough fight. But then once you get out of this area and get back to the real world, you see like Birdley's head's like on the desk like that. And if he's not moving, like you have to presume he's dead, but like in Undertale when monsters die, they turn into dust, so something's fishy. But if you examine him, it says something to the effect of he's not awake right now. So you effectively you and then you like clean up the room, but there's also like a closet area in there that's like, oh, a body could fit in here, which I noticed when I played it, but I just thought it was like, haha. Yeah, yeah, okay, Pokey, no worries. But yeah. So instead of you just killing stuff for the sake of killing, you're like emotionally abusive to Noelle and then get her to kill her friend. As annoying as Birdley was, it's like she's known him for years. You've known her for years. But you get her to let's just take out of it like the whole idea of she has any agency in her life, because in this situation she clearly doesn't have the agency. So rather than you going around and killing stuff for the sake of it, you're like psychologically abusing her so you can kill stuff because the game's like your choices don't matter. But then you get to harass, you get to, do things to make other people's choices matter. So I'm curious to see how exactly that's going to play out. And we're in chapter 2. And we already get someone to murder a child uh bird character. And you don't even do it. You get someone else to do it. But what I'm wondering, because I've been on Reddit reading about this like all day. He could have killed his consciousness. Yeah, it could be like a coma type thing. That's why he wasn't turned into dust. No, that's something's fishy's going on. But like they make it seem pretty clear in the description that it's not Chris doing it because Noelle keeps saying like I hear this terrifying voice that's not Chris doing it, like telling me to do these things, which is supposed to be you. But like I've been on Reddit all day and like reading theories and stuff. And one thing I'm starting to wonder is like what if there is more than one ending? If there's no different ending, what's the end game to murdering all your friends? If there's an alternate ending, it's like what different is going to happen? I saw somebody theorize that like what if it turns out that I'm going to go a slightly different direction with this, but like I was reading about like what if it turns out that you get to the end and like after the roaring happens and there's like titans on the world and stuff. What if you like don't battle harden these characters in such a way that when this roaring happens, you aren't able to beat the game? So like what if it turns out that if you try to do like a pacifist run, you're not going to be strong enough to turn back whatever happens? But what I'm wondering is like, what if I say I follow the Snowgrave Run? This I might actually do on stream. What if I follow Snowgrave Run all the way up to the Birdley fight? Because what I'm wondering about is, okay, I got the freeze ring and the thorn ring. Now I have these pieces of equipment. I have them now. So what if I just keep them, then do the Birdly fight normal? So then Noelle will have these weapons in case she needs to use them later, like for good. Narad, not really related to the Geno run, but do you have any idea why Ralsei doesn't turn into stone despite being in a different dark world? I can't even begin to guess why that would be. Probably something to do with being the prince. Oh, maybe. But yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If rather than going like full genocide with it, if you stop short of genocide just to get like the key items you need to actually fight off these titans. So I might do a stream of that, basically doing that run, but stopping short of actually killing Birdly. Because like I get the monsters that are in this underworld, like are in the cyber world, I mean. Like they seem to be alive and stuff. And like the werewires, they were like citizens. But like I'm wondering like are they how important are they? Like I'm under the impression that you can still, if you're to do the route way I'm suggesting, you would still be able to recruit all of the characters, like all the monsters. So if you're to freeze the rest of them, it's like are they even truly like cognizant? It just I just wonder. I have so many questions right now on Soulheart. Yeah, like my mind's just been swimming all day trying to make heads or tails of it. And it's like, oh great, we're gonna have to how long are we gonna have to wait before we have any answers for this? Have this dropped on my doorstep? Wait, so what if Chris is like the second coming of the night? Cheesy quick runner, what's going on? How unthoughtful. I mean, it is unthoughtful of me for the citizens of the cyber world. Red Fox, what's going on? If you got my photos printed, what photos? No. Yeah, thank you for the liard, Red Fox. And from what I understand, they like there's not supposed to be school for the next like day at least. So like for anyone that like kills Birdly, like they're not going to find them for a couple of days. Then we're going to do whatever it is in like in your house. And I can't imagine you'd be able to pressure your mom into the same in doing something similar. But are you? I can't see Susie going for it. Like being controlled by you. She would willingly just kill stuff. She doesn't need your guidance to do that. But maybe that's why you can get her to actually kill something, because she's already already wants to. But like if you get your mom to do it, I find this orders of magnitude like more just worse. Because you're getting at least in Undertale, you're doing the dirty work. Within the context of this game, you're getting someone else to do the dirty work. So yeah, there's plenty of topics discussing it right now. There's a few YouTube videos popping up about it. Also unrelated to any of this. I started to dig deeper into, for anyone that watched my stream, when I was transferring my data to Spamton, I had this thing happen. I realized when I went back to watch it that the pop-up didn't show up on stream. But when it happened, I presumed it was like a funny Easter egg or something. So I started to dig into it. I couldn't really find anything about it. But eventually I went on Twitter and went on Toby Fox's Twitter and saw there's some bug fixes. And that was actually one of the things that happened to me. I actually found a bug where if you press up when you're transferring the disc, it would crash the game. I thought it was just Spampton being Spampton, but no, it was just a glitch. Because I tried to go back and recreate it, and I'm like, what kind of rare event did I stumble across? But it wasn't anything. I didn't really find anything special other than a bug. Feel like if we do hop in the Dark World in Chapter 3, Toriel would kill everyone under the guise of protecting Chris. That's a good point. That's a good point. I just wonder what kind of magic she would have. Because again, all the monsters run away, but she might just have something that just kills them outright. So yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. Because in oh my god, Jesus, you just really okay. Because in chapter 2, it's basically the character. It's going to be like a meme. Proceed, because Noelle's like, should we do this? Proceed. Should we do this? Proceed. And I was thinking that wouldn't work with your mom. You tell your mom to proceed. She'd just be like, "No, I'm your mom." But like, what if Chris pretends? Well, I guess it's you. It's not even really Chris in this case. Is like faking something, so she proceeds. Like either faking being in more trouble or wounded or something. Like just manipulating in a different way. This could get really, really twisted. Like if instead of just outright killing everything, you're like playing mind games, getting other people to do it because you can't do it, just for a little bit of, well, if I can't make any differences, I'll make sure everyone around me makes a difference. But I think I'll wind up doing that, playing through that run all the way up to the Birdley fight, but not kill him. So I have those items. Because what if we use Noelle later in the game and we have those items? What's that mean? Or will we just, or will she just never be playable again? Part of me thinks she just won't be playable again, but maybe she will be. I also discovered, and I can't believe this didn't occur to me. Like thinking back to it, I'm like, what an idiot. I went back and grabbed the egg. Like, you know how in chapter 1 there's like a hidden egg if you go like back and forth between rooms? Well, in chapter 2 it outright tells you where it is, and it just whistled right through my head. Cuz when you go to that dumpster room, there's like graffiti on the wall that's like there's a room between these rooms. So it's like obviously go back and forth between those. So you can get another egg there. I have no idea what these eggs are going to do yet, but I want them. Could actually turn into a manipulator, yeah, by doing genocide through other characters, yeah, through emotional manipulation. Oh, it's so evil. Hey, what have I missed? I was just explain. I'm not gonna go over like the meat and potatoes of it again, but recently I just found out about like how in Undertale there's a genocide run. In Deltarune Chapter 2, there's an equivalent that's kind of being batted around as being called the Snowgrave Run, where you can actually kill Birdley. You can freeze him to death. But you don't do it. You get Noelle to do it. Which is so much worse. Like, I don't want to do that. But I didn't want to do the genocide run either, but eventually I did. And you know what? I didn't really feel that bad about it. I did after I finished. Like, I felt kind of bad about it. But, like, as I was doing it, I didn't feel bad about it. Pretty much the whole time I read about this, I have chills. It's like, this is weird. The weird route. That's actually what it's called in the files, the weird route. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. I also do, like I was saying, I kind of want to mess around with chapter 1 again to see if there's anything I could possibly do to do something similar, but probably not. So I feel like Azrael is going to have a major impact in Deltarune. Since there are prophecy in Undertale saying an angel will free them. And Azrael in some, yeah, can be counted as an angel in a literal sense. I've also been reading about people talking about, like, what if, like, it seems like there's more with, like, Ralsei. Oh, Azrael, sorry, yeah, having major impact. So yeah, like, it's Chekhov's gun. Like, why even bring up Azrael if he's not going to be in the game? So there's some people who are speculating. It's like, well, what if it actually is Azrael in the Dark World? But he just says to his parents, like, "Aha, I'm gone to college." Aha, because wasn't, maybe I'm imagining this, but didn't they say something like he's not? Why isn't he called home or anything? So the final boss of the game be either Ralzai, Azrael trying to stop Chris in one final attempt from doing genocide. I have no idea. The thing that I was speculating before was that, like, the final battle would take place in a Chris-shaped battlefield that your heart is in, and that whoever you're fighting is trying to, like, hit your heart, but you're trying to help them hit the heart, taking out Chris too. So, like, you sacrifice yourself, but it's for the greater good. With this new development with the Snowdrake run, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, that could still be like a pacifist run thing. But, like, what's the Snowdrake even gonna, like, what kind of ending is this? Like, is it just gonna be everyone dies still? I think it's called weird because of how disturbing it is. That's why it's weird, because it's weird that Toby would think of making this genocide run, and somehow making it more disturbing than genocide. Well, he did say that he thought about it when he had, like, a fever dream or something. So, I'm expecting things to get a lot worse before they get better. When I did genocide in Undertale, I felt bad up to and including the Papyrus fight. Then the Undyne fight got me into it, and I felt really bad about it again at Sans. I got to the end of the fight and quit. Yeah, and I did know about, like, the point of no return, where apparently even if you kill Sans, you can immediately just turn the game off and, like, delete it, and it won't actually scar your save file. But if you go past, like, a certain door, then you're it's over. You have to, like, actually physically remove it from the files. Mm. Or else I fighting Chris sounds awful. So I think I'll tentatively keep that as, like, my end game prediction, that there will at least be a fight where there's a Chris-shaped battlefield that your heart is in, and you're trying to help whoever your party members are. I have no idea if you would control the party members or not in this instance. But, like, the Chris-shaped battlefield would be moving around, but you would be trying to get in the way of attacks. And then, like, I don't know, Chris could have healing magic, shields, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I'm probably totally off base here, but yeah, I felt worse about it after. And then, yeah. Do you think part 3 will tie into the plot to Undertale at all? Part 3? Probably not. I'm expecting it, if it ties into Undertale at all, it'll be somewhere. Here's another thing I want to point out. Because I guess, like, on Twitter or something, Like, it seems like the general consensus that there was going to be 5 chapters after a certain point, but when you beat chapter 2, there's clearly 7 chapters on the screen. But there's some people that are saying that in the files there's like 10 chapters. So, like, what's that mean? Believe they would help Chris, yeah, or at least try. It depends what, like, it depends if whatever Chris is turns out being malicious or not. Hey, Juan Sebastian, thanks for joining in with you and your unicorn. You guys have a good night together. But I'm thinking that in this instance that Chris has gone like pure chaos, and that they need to be stopped no matter what in this instance. But then we got whatever this run's going to be. The reason why I say like tentatively Snowgrave is surely in chapter 3 you're not going to freeze stuff to death, so it's not going to stay. It's probably not going to be stayed called Snowgrave. Sounds like some Toby tomfoolery to me. Sounds like there's so many chapters planned that there probably won't be an entire third game. Unaltered. Wait, what do you mean? But I kind of find the whole situation interesting because in this, how do I even think about this? Like in this situation, like Noelle is, even if you don't make her do that stuff, she seems to be very impressionable in the game. And like realistically, at any time, she should just be able to say, "I'm not doing any of this." Like once she starts to feel bad about it. But it's like she has no agency in it, but you pressure her to do it anyway, and that seems awful considering she has no agency. What I find interesting is like I suppose us as humans, we do have this agency. So we don't have to do this thing that Toby Fox puts in front of us and is like, here's this temptation. Here's this temptation for you. It's like you, because I was first thinking like, but you're making me do what Chris is making Noelle do. So how are you as the game designer better than Chris to Noelle? But it's like Noelle doesn't have a choice. You have a choice. What if it is unrelated? Get it? Oh, it's an anagram? Is it really? Okay, I didn't get it. Oh, unaltered. There probably won't be an Undertale 3 because this has so much content. Oh, yes, yes. And I assume the third game would be called Unaltered. Another anagram, I take it. Okay. How many anagrams are there for this word, anyways? He has to make the tough choice to kill his own brother, or they'll kill all of the Dark World and maybe even the real world. Yeah, like I think even in the pacifist route, things are going to get dreary. But like the one ending part, is it going to be one ending? Or like has Toby Fox concocted something so devious where like how people would go into their files and delete, like say someone did the genocide route, if you muck around in like the data somehow, you can pull that part out so you can get like a true pacifist again. What if he's figured out some way that like when you get whatever ending you get, it's like that's just your ending now. There's no files for you to pull out. That's your ending now. I don't know if I know nothing about coding. So I don't know if this is possible. But I wonder if that's why it's like one ending. Because whichever ending you commit to is your ending. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I even think of unrelated. Unaltered was the only anagram I could think. I'm not much of an anagram guy. I don't that's not how my brain works. I'm not that way. Like race car is an anagram of race car. I don't know if I even really have much more to say about it than that. I just wanted to say it out loud because just been thinking about it all day, and it's like, this is really, like, after having, like, such a blast with my playthrough, it's like, there was this dark undertone. This dark path that I didn't even realize existed, and I just kinda stumbled across it. I didn't know what anyone was talking about at first. Maybe the character you make at the beginning could have importance, possibly becoming the new player character. I was thinking that too, Arson. I actually posted a short video today basically saying that, where I'm like, okay, because the duck came back, because I chose the duck. That I made a duck in chapter 1 during, like, that part with Lancer and Susie. And, like, the duck came back for that fight and the queen fight. But someone commented on my video saying that people had been messing around the game files, and it doesn't seem to save whatever the template of a character is that we make, but it does save, like, the duck or whatever you choose for that part. So because of that, I'm inclined to think that it's not actually going to carry over that vessel. Because I was thinking that too. It's like, this has to be brought back now. But I don't know. Nude alert, yeah. Elder Aunt, Nut Leader, Ultra Need. The file, I don't. If the file was on a server that wasn't on the computer, then maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It might not be possible. This is another thing I've been speculating. So it'll give me something to think about for a while, at least. But, like, what if Papyrus ends up being, like, the Sands of this game? Because in Undertale, Papyrus makes that mention about, like, prepare for my special attack, but then, presumably it's the Toby Fox dog, like, is eating it, and he's like, hey, that's my special attack. It's like, what if Papyrus has special attacks that are, like, as nasty as Sans' special attacks? But Toby Fox didn't allow it for the first one. But you'll get to see them in this one. And if you go full, Snowgrave about it, you'll get to fight Papyrus instead, and he'll be a complete nightmare to deal with. What else do I even want to touch on? This might not be a very long stream. Just trying to think if there's anything else in regards to that I really want to say. Because I had originally planned to stream normal, but, like, despite the reading and stuff, I've been kind of tired all day. I'm like, I don't really want to play a game for 3-4 hours. Not really up for it, but I can sit here and babble for, like, an hour. Is there anything I'm missing? I wasn't able to get, like, enough battery acid to make a battery acid pie for, like, a cooking stream. Just need a lot of baking soda, like, a lot. Gotta neutralize that battery acid. Start killing the real world. Yeah, Papyrus could be different. In the sense, yeah, if you recognize you're a killer with no reforming, then you'll have to fight him. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Because even in Undertale, he's like, I have faith that you can be reformed. But maybe because, like, all the emotional manipulation stuff is, like, orders of magnitude more fucked up than, like, just outright killing stuff. Like, you're toying with everyone first. He might have less tolerance for that. Someone on Reddit too speculated that, like, say that Sans tries to fight you again, but, like, because of the way the battle system works, he tries to dodge an attack, but he can't, so you just kill him in one hit. And then it's like, here's the Papyrus fight. Anthony Jordan, what's going on? Yeah, like, I've known about the plane ride from hell since, like, 20 years? Long time I've known about it. Like, pretty much after it happened, I heard about it. I didn't realize it was like such a underground like incident. Now they're trying to cancel Ric Flair about it. Cancel Ric Flair over it, or are they trying to cancel him over something else? It was what was it? Sonny was saying Brock Lesnar like showed little Brock to her. I was conflating the two stories. Yeah, not only do you kill people, you convince others to kill for you. In Deltarune, you don't even get to directly kill anybody because the enemies just run away. You only convince others to kill for you, which is even worse. Like it's one thing to do it yourself. Like I'm not saying that makes you Mother Teresa, but yeah, the convincing and the way that it's done, like watching it play out, it's uncomfortable at some points because you tell her to do stuff like 4 or 5 times when she like clearly doesn't want to do it, and it just it's disgusting. It kind of hits like a, I guess like a personal note with me because I really don't like if I get the vibe that I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, "Hey, do you want to do this thing?" And if I get the vibe that they don't want to do it, I'm like, "I'm not going to try to convince you to do something you don't want to do." I really don't like that. Like just in general, my mega it's okay if you kill others yourself, Harv. Perfectly legal. But yeah, like but like if you're doing it yourself, it's just kind of it's that's one thing. Oh, there was so much stuff again that happened on that flight from hell. The most notable thing in my mind that allegedly happened. This is like a going on a wrestling tangent, but like I guess Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar either got into a fight on this plane or decided they're gonna just have a fight on this plane. And then at one point they both like crashed into the airplane door, but like it didn't open or anything. But and like Ric Flair was walking around naked and a bunch of stuff happened. I don't remember the full scope of it off the top of my head, but those are the two things that kind of pop up. Interested in how Undyne would work. Yeah, like how would Undyne the Undying look like? Would she be the same, or would she be harder? Considering she has both monsters, yeah, and humans to protect now. Yeah, she could. It also depends how much of a factor determination is in Deltarune, because maybe determination isn't the same power in Deltarune that it is in Undertale. So rather than determination giving her the power, maybe she'll feed off of something else. Just incredible having two weekended Bernies. Oh, having to weekend and Bernie Scott Hall through customs. Do find some dark humor in that. I definitely didn't hear about that either. Would you have to fight Asgore at some point if you killed Real? Or yeah, it depends what like if he finds out what you do and what Toriel does. Like if you're able to emotionally manipulate your mom in such a way that she does something horrible, like what if you somehow convince her? Oh my fuck! What if you somehow convince like what if somehow Asgore winds up in the same world that Toriel's in, and you somehow convince her to kill your fucking dad? Like that, I'm not keeping anything off the table with this route right now. The depth of the depravity, like she feels like you're in danger somehow, but you're not. You're just nuts. Maybe Undyne could go off willpower, yeah, rather than determination. But Asgore seems like Birdly getting killed is one thing because he's not like he's more of a minor character than like fucking Asgore, who's like pretty central character in Undertale. So I don't think he would get thrown away quite that way, but I don't know. Potential is the de facto power in Deltarune. I'm just kind of thinking of the worst case scenario stuff because like how truly could Toby Fox make a game with the with what you have to do being so messed up that no one actually wants to do it. Okay, this first one you get Noel to kill his friend, Noel to kill her friend, eventually you get your mom to kill your dad, like good lord. Just because you manipulator? Oh my god. Oh, put sunglasses on. Last I heard, Just Incredible was like a manager somewhere. I haven't checked recently. But I am wondering if you can do anything with doing like these genocidal routes, but like stop if that's going to be the theme of the levels going forward, you have this person from your real life in this dark world. You get them to kill X number of things. You get items so they can do a special thing. Like if that's going to be the formula, does that mean that you can stop short of it but keep these items and that's useful for later? I'm curious about that. Like in order to succeed, you have to get so close to the edge of darkness but not quite go over the edge. You could destroy all of it or none of it. Yeah, there's nothing to save. Hey, Cobolero. There's nothing to save because you have the potential to destroy it or just leave it be. But yeah, for now, I don't want to do that route. Unless it's get both rings and stop short. That I'll do. Is there anything else? Flipping through my mental Rolodex here. I'm trying to think where else in the game the Dark Worlds might be. So it's looking like in Chapter 3, Dark Worlds in your house. I'm imagining there's going to be a Dark World in the church somewhere. There's probably going to be a Dark World in that bunker down bottom. I wonder if there'd be one in Sans' store. Or like Town Hall. Because if you could go and if it was like Sans' store, like what would that even be? A lot of puns. So yeah, I guess you could say Toby Fox has outdone himself here. In a sense. In like all the worst ways. And what's the significance of Asgore having those 7 flowers in the jars? And you never get to go yeah, the flower shop Asgore owns seems like a safe bet, yeah, for another fountain. Yeah, like, is that are you just gonna go to the Undertale world? Like, what the hell is that even going to be? because they have all those flowers in the jars, and you put those eggs there. That's got to have. Joe, are you okay? You must be. Are you feeling better? But like, if you can keep collecting eggs, like, what purpose are these eggs going to serve? Interesting to see a standalone game. Would you have no choice? Yeah, or or impact on the story, so you can emotionally manipulate. Yeah, so you can emotionally manipulate characters to get your way. But like, if it's still gonna have, like, quote unquote one ending, I'm just trying to envision how that would play out. Like, what, you get to the ending, but like everyone's just dead. It was all right. You're still coughing. Well, you made it through. How much you've been reading up about chapter 2, Joe? Do you know what I mean when I say the Snowgrave Run? I imagine if anyone's heard about that, you have. Yeah, likely the flower shop. Wondering if or if like the graveyard. This is presuming it even is only 7 chapters. Like, if it does go up to 10, or if it's just going to be some random number of chapters. I can't help but feel it's going to connect Undertale in some way by the end of it, in some capacity. Whether it's a prequel, or maybe it is just an alternate universe, and just that's the. Just when you talk on the phone and you get like the Gaster sounds. Half scrub, what's going on? It's 7 because there's 7 days in a week. In a week, Azrael is coming over. Oh, did they actually say that in game? I don't remember that. 'Cause that would make sense. Or does the game end on like Christmas? Because there's so much Christmas theme, and that's another thing people were pointing out too. Like, did Noelle like? People are speculating that Noelle like killed her sister with this spell somehow. That she could kill Birdley with. I don't remember more about that. But it seems like December and Christmas is like important to her in some capacity. Yeah, probably, Joe. 7 chapters. Probably when you enter that big door into that dark world, and that's where you enter the dark world called the Void. Well, there's no way to avoid that. I'm just hopeful the next part comes out like soonish. Like, I'm not expecting it to be released tomorrow, but like next year. I don't know. I have no idea how much work he did in advance. Because for all we know, the game's like practically completed, but he's like, well, I'm just going to drip feed it to them now. Like, I know he storyboarded a lot of it, but a lot of work goes into this. Like, it's like he's got a few people animating. He has a little bit of help, but it's mostly just him. I just find it weird though, because like, okay, say those eggs mean something. Typically, there's a eggs. I would associate eggs with the number 12. It seems right now, if there's going to be 7 chapters, there would be tops 7 eggs, and there's already 1 egg in the fridge, so that would be 8 eggs. What purpose are these eggs going to serve? Like, they're surely gonna serve a purpose. I guess if you go into whatever dark world and Asgore's room is, Asgore's flower shop. Wonder if you'll get to meet Flowey in the flower shop. You gotta go. All right, Joe. Feel better. Take her easy. Excuse me. But there's like so many different locations. And like Napstabluke's house is there. Like, are we ever gonna get to visit Napstabluke? Is the restaurant going to be a level? Like, which of these buildings are not going to be a level? Yeah, I'm just kind of. There was some building I didn't actually go into at the end. Like, I didn't even see it. It was whatever building was past the hospital. I didn't go there. I forget what's there. Yeah, things are getting pretty interesting. That's for sure. I think that's about all I got about it. I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest. The Some pretty wacky happenings, and I don't really want to do it. I don't know, like I said, I kind of want to do a run like that, but stop short, like I had mentioned. I also kind of want to screw around in chapter 1 again just to see if anything has more context. Do you know much about the Snowgrave Run? Hey, Christopher Smith, welcome. I seem to I think I understand most of it. Like, I more or less understand how you activate it, the consequences of it. I don't know what it's going to mean in the long run, though. I had a theory that Deltarune's a simulation for Chris, being a suitable vessel for Kara. Maybe Kara is controlling Chris, with the fandom depiction of Kara being a megalomaniac, genocider. Well, like, Gaster was doing all these experiments, so. And then at the end of chapter 2, there's like that screen that's smiling. Who do we all know that's a smiling television? I would think Flowey would be in Asgore's level, though. Yeah, maybe they'll do anything possible to do genocide. Yeah, even if it means getting someone else to do it. But yeah, I know that it makes this run makes me uncomfortable. I'm impressed with how quickly it was found, and that I don't really want to do it. There's no way I'm going to be able to keep myself in the dark with this one after. But then therein lies the problem where in Undertale, like, Flowey will give you shit if people are watching you play it. Like, Flowey says something to the effect of, like, at least you're doing it. Some people will just watch you do it. Isn't that sick? But it's like, I did that with this run. I don't want to do it, but I still watched it, so I may as well just do it. But I don't want to immediately corrupt my save file, even though there's 3 save files. Seems you're more detached from your actions. Yeah, no, yes, definitely in Undertale compared to Deltarune. Yeah, I was saying a bit earlier that, like, at least with Undertale, you're doing the dirty work, and you're just trying to raise your numbers and kill everything. That's where it begins and ends with you. You're you're a murderer. But with Deltarune, you're more of a manipulator. You still have the murderous intent, but it's doing it yourself isn't good enough. You get other people to do it because you can't do it, which is so much worse. BRB. Okay, Douglas. Although the fandom creates a gigantic theory that Toby will completely destroy. Yeah, on the next chapter. I wouldn't be surprised if you would see like common theories and be like, okay, so I'm not doing that now. I was going to, but now I'm not because they see it coming. Maybe the TV represents how Toriel remembers Azrael, or a twisted version of how she remembers him, i.e., Flowey. Yeah, and I can't help but imagine there's going to be like a similar fight to that, but it's kind of, you almost can't do another Flowey fight because like in Undertale doing that Flowey fight was, oh man, that first time doing that Flowey fight, man. One of my biggest regrets about my video game life is that I didn't get to play like the Gygas fight blind. Because all that happened was like my brother was playing the game. I woke up, he happened to be at the end, and I watched him do it. I didn't really think anything of it at the time. But like looking back, it's like, what if I just stayed in bed for like another hour and got to experience that on my own? But I felt like the Flowey fight was kind of a redemption of that. Because that really came out of nowhere. It's like, okay, you fight all these, black and white drawing enemies all game. Then all of a sudden you have like this 3D abomination that you're fighting that took over your game. It's like, oh my god, this is exhilarating. But like, you can't do that again. Everyone's expecting it, so you have to not, you have to especially not do that. Or if you do that, it's kind of like cool, but you got to have some other surprise instead. Like you could still do the fight, but I wouldn't be like, it would be different in the context of these battles. The player could be representative of Kara, and really all this might be Kara doing through the player or vice versa. Yeah, like if, especially if you gave Kara your soul and then you do all this stuff. It's not you, it's Kara. What I have seen so far, Undertale is about choices you make, yeah. Deltarune seems to be about control, yeah. In part 1, you don't really have control. Yeah, in part 2, yeah, you manipulate someone else's actions. Yeah, and even, like, in the normal route, the queen's manipulating Noelle pretty well. Like, she doesn't wanna, like, it took her so long to even say no to the queen one time. It's just like, how is chapter 3 gonna go? I shudder to think how, like, with Susie and your mother in that dark world, that's not going to end well. But maybe they'll just be your party members, and no, Ralsei will show up for no reason again. I'm quite confident. So maybe we'll find your mom elsewhere, and ah, despicable. Michael Manzi, what's going on? May I point out that the sprite work really went up in quality? Yeah, like Cyberfield has some of the best sprite work I've seen. Oh yeah, the sprite work was great. And like the seems like just the overall like present, I don't know if presentation is necessarily the right word, but like Toby Fox has stepped his game up for sure. Well worth the wait. Asriel's been noted as being better than Chris, so maybe in the third dungeon, Flowey. Oh, is how Toriel perceives Asriel. Same powers and everything. Yeah, just evil, you know. Could be. Like, what's this world even going to like? Are we gonna have like a persona? Are we gonna have a persona moment where, like, how chapter 2 was in the internet? Maybe chapter 3, you're gonna be in the television rather than just the house. Because in chapter 2, you're not really in a library. You're in the internet. So maybe chapter 3, you'll be in cable. Goodish news, I guess. I've seen that. Yes, I saw that too. That Toby was planning to release part 3, 4, and 5 at the same time. That'd be neat. I'm hopeful that they're all going to be like each chapter is going to be a similar length. Saw the reason he took so long this time was to write the storyboard. I heard that and that he was having a lot of wrist trouble, and he wasn't really able to get it operated on because COVID happened. That also slowed him down. So yeah, I'm hopeful that we'll get the next chunk, relatively soon. Oh, White Despair, Black Hope. Yeah, welcome to that. It's possible that the police will also be in the Dark World for Chapter 3. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, since they're on their way over after Toriel's phone call. Yeah, for some reason, Chris left the house door open at the end. Makes sense for Flowey to come back. It's the red menacing glow under the TV. Kind of seemed like an off detail to me. Well, he's the only guy I would associate with the television. I had to leave the room for about a half hour. What did I miss? I've just been discussing the speculating on what might be happening for part 2. But yeah, like is police in part 3, so then you wouldn't have to go to. Can you go in the police station? I can't even remember. There must be a police station if Undyne's an officer. So does that mean does that mean that we're gonna like Undyne's gonna be. I guess that's what that would have to mean. We haven't met any other police officers. So does that mean we're gonna see Undyne in chapter 3? Is Undyne gonna be in our party? How are we gonna manipulate Undyne? But like who would we manipulate on like as far as we know, I don't know about that though. Because like as far as we know, Undyne doesn't really have any connections to anybody in Deltarune. Undyne is just kind of like she's doing her own thing. They're talking about a festival. Yeah, maybe chapter 4 could take place in like a circus tent, yeah, with different equipment and clowns and rides as enemies. Well, they do definitely seem to be like going towards that because you got like Jevil, and then there's like the whole Ferris wheel in chapter 2. So they could go like full blown like festival mode about it. What if you bust in the police station to try to kill Undyne? Yeah, like what? I'm just keep getting more and more thoughts. What if you somehow convince your mother? Now that I'm thinking, now that it was brought to my attention that the police are coming to chapter 3. Say that Toriel is one of your party members, and you end up getting into a fight with Undyne, and you manipulate your mom into killing Undyne, and then somehow she's like they wake up and like Undyne's dead, like somehow dead or whatever, and then your mother gets arrested because she murdered Undyne. Maybe go for officers after experience. Yeah, after enough experience. Seen some people theorize that the theme of the third Dark World be televisions. I was just thinking that since the TV had a smile at the end, and just before going to sleep, Susie talks on and on about TV shows and movies. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I think it was like right before you popped in that I'm wondering if they're going to go Persona 4 about it, and you just wind up like in the TV. In regards to the Snowgrave scene, now while when casting it floats in the air with her eyes widened out, she really didn't know that spell. She got physically forced to cast it. How? Yeah, I don't know. Because she like insisted that she doesn't know the spell. But I've also seen people speculate that she might have somehow killed her sister with the same spell. I forget why. I really wish I had more information on that. I was trying to write stuff down, like talking points for the stream, but I didn't think of that till like pretty late. Secret parts all seem to point towards freedom. Yeah, which is also what counts. Yeah, and they even like when you beat Scamtron Scamps. I can't remember his name now. I can't. Anyways, you know who I mean. After you do that boss fight, but like not in like the Snowgrave Run, like you can tell Chris is bothered by the whole situation, which I didn't really understand. But like, what if you're not bothered, but Chris is bothered about it because like that whole creepy situation and knowing that like Chris must know they keep ripping their heart out, so they must know that they're being controlled. So like maybe they also want freedom, but like at what cost? Yeah, the power of manipulation. Feels Spampton had connection to Undertale in some way. I just know how he. Yeah. Well, it seems like he's like a Metaton type character. So like, is his thought processes like is he basically Metaton before Metaton was a thing? Hey, Secret Drone. Just stopped in to hear this discussion. Honestly, don't remember Chapter 1, and I'm waiting for Chapter 2 to come to Switch or PS4. I'm speculating that'll happen on Halloween, which is Deltarune's anniversary. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the listen, Secret Drone. We're just kind of. I've been reading about this all day. It's a thorn in my brain right now. Yeah, the heart's the player for sure. Yeah, the player is for sure manipulating Chris. Except when Chris decides to. I just find it so weird. Like, what is the time? Does anyone in the chat have any like speculation as to why Chris slashed Toriel's tires? I cannot figure that out. Like, is the idea that they can't? Toriel might try to leave and can't because the tires are slashed, or did they slash the tires so the police come, so the police can come into the dark world? Maybe that's specifically why then? Yeah, that's true too. Notice that when Chris rips the heart out, the camera doesn't follow when they jump out the window. Yeah, because you're technically the heart. So, and at any point in the game, does it like? I don't think at any point in the game it like flashes to watch anyone else from anyone else's perspective. It's only when you're there. So, is there a release date for the future chapters? Unfortunately, no. To get Susie to stay, I guess. Oh, was that after? I can't remember when they decided that Susie was going to stay the night. Was that after the tires being slashed? Because that would at least make sense. Otherwise, it's just like I can't understand it. It just seems so petty. That's the only word I have for it. I can understand the murder, like that. I get. Chris doesn't want to do it. Yeah, we're the ones that manipulate others into doing what we want. Yeah, especially Chris. Yeah, we manipulate Chris manipulating other people. Assume that the Chris slashed the tires in order to get Toriel to call the police. Yeah. Why would they want the police to come is something we're not sure of. Yeah. I'm sure that'll become clear eventually. I am happy we're going to be getting 3 chapters this time whenever it drops. I suppose at least if we get 3 chapters and it takes like another 2 years, it's like, well, we get 3 chapters though. But I can't help but feel that one of the chapters is going to be like 7 minutes long. Just as a nod to Mother 3. We're going to have like a turbo short chapter. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these chapters is like comically short. I'm hoping they're all about the similar length though. Yeah, it could be Chris relating to the secret bosses, them wanting freedom from varying fortress. Yeah, who also understands that we're controlling them. Susie scenes when Ralsei asks you to think about what she's up to. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's a scene where the camera doesn't follow Chris or the heart. Are the first 2 chapters already longer than Undertale? Technically? Like, if you were to just play through Undertale once? Yes. I think so anyways. Because they each took me, like, 6 to 7 hours. Deltarune 1 and 2. Which I think was longer than my first playthrough of Undertale. But if you play through let's say you go into Undertale knowing nothing about it. You go through first time playing like a normal RPG, and then you're like, okay, I'm not supposed to kill anybody. I'll play it again. Then go through it again with the pacifist route, and then eventually you do the genocide route with the 3 playthroughs. I would say all 3 of those playthroughs are longer than the first 2 chapters. But standalone 1 playthrough, I think, is shorter. I also think that the final boss of the game is us. Yeah, just us, the player. And Chris trying to get rid of us once and for all. That would be interesting. That would be an interesting twist. I had been speculating that it all depends on what, like, the genocide route side of things even means. Because before any of this even happened, I was speculating that, like, maybe the final boss or a boss would be like you're in a Chris-shaped battlefield and you're fighting whoever on the other side. And instead of trying to avoid damage, like the Chris-shaped battlefield's moving around and you're trying to move into the attacks. And like instead of trying to like kill something else, you're trying to die before your teammates die. Yeah, I wonder how that would work if like Chris kicks us and like what body would we inhabit? During Snowgrave, where else I ask you the same thing to think about Susie, but Chris just doesn't respond, yeah, and the scene doesn't play. Yeah, I wonder how, like, what's that? How? Like, what kind of powers is that? Maybe Chris slashed the tires just to prank on Toriel. We do know from dialogue Chris is a creepy prankster, once scaring Noelle with fake blood in their arms. Yeah, that was true. Maybe he just has a they they have a bad sense of pranking. They go overboard with it, and they're like, haha. Hey, Jonathan, I just felt like being blindfolded in the thumbnail. There's really no thought put into it. I mean, yeah, that is interesting to think about because, yeah, what if we are the Titans? So Chris is trying to summon the Titans to fight us. Yeah, because compared to the characters we see on screen, we would be pretty big. But like, I'm curious how that would function because we'd still need a vessel to fight them all in, and like, what form would that take? I wonder. Yeah, more puzzles, more mini games, more routes, more tiers, more death. For 3 easy payments of yeah, Chromer hyperlink block. Can't you get it? Curious what exactly happened to bring the internet down? Yeah, what did happen to bring the internet down? We know that whatever it was happened somewhat recently, but I don't think we got any clues as to what actually happened. Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. But like, surely something must have happened. So what have I missed last night at Deltarune? Oh, it just they found the genocide run of Deltarune in chapter 2, and we're just kind of theorizing about what may be to come. Weird though, yeah, like the black smoke, the knife. Yeah, what's going on with that ending? Or is Chris just going to eat the pie again? Yeah, like is the fire department just going to come this time? And it's like, oh, there's fire. Or are we just going to wind up in a dark world immediately? The middle titan happened to have the eye symbols on it during Ralze's explanation. Same eye symbols at the start of Dark World in chapter 1. It's mentioned that Queen used the internet as her source of intelligence. However, after it went down, she became more extreme. Okay. Susie also mentioned that since the internet went down, they don't really use computers anymore. Whole thing with Chris eating the pie is a nod to MatPat's Delta. Is it really? Whole thing with Chris eating the pie is a nod to MatPat's Deltarune joke theory. I remember watching like at least one of the MatPat videos, but it's been a while. I didn't go back to it recently. Is he ever going to have a field day with us? I mean, aren't we all kind of having a field day of sorts? But man, it's so much. Like, how much more twisted are they gonna? Is are you like how much worse can it get? Like, you're just gonna make other people genocide the world instead of you doing it somehow, and you and Kara go off someplace. In this chapter, Noelle is already unstable. Well, yeah, because like her dad's in the hospital. I forget the deal with her mom. I want to say that her mom's hard on her, but I forget. Not be surprised if she snaps eventually going on a freezing rampage. Yeah, and then there's like the whole other side of it where like, what if you doing this to her winds up making her kill less people? Like, I can't imagine he would take that kind of go that way with it, but who knows? I believe the final chapter will have something to do with Azrael. That seems legit. Being built up this entire time, yeah, the return from university. Gonna go, but I'll be back for chapter 3 or any other stream. I'll see you when you go live again. All right, sounds good, Jonathan. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, the speculation is what makes these games so fun. I get why streams are so popular. Oh yeah, just like the talking of talking about this stuff. Thinking about what might happen. See if you can't figure it out. It gets hard like trying to keep stuff strictly within like context clues in the game. Because it's really easy to be like, I think this one thing, I'm going to leap to this conclusion. If my time doing like Five Nights at Freddy's speculations taught me anything, it was really easy to do that. Here's this thing, but I'm going to jump to a conclusion. And it's like, wait, this is never stated in game. So, like, why am I even saying this? Curious about the rumors of the bunker area. The citizens of town seem to at least tell rumors about it, claiming only kids believe that stuff. Yeah, and Chris seems to be. How canon is Snowgrave? I'd rather see it as a non-canon route that gives better insight to the world. I would also prefer to see that. I guess we just don't know yet whether it like the how canonical it is. I like the theory of Noelle killing Yeah, Desk. Because her mom being hard on her could be resentment because she killed Desk. But then you wonder, like, because of the spell that she used to kill Birdley, I have to assume that she would have killed Desk with it. But like, why? Like, if her mother knew that, like, wouldn't she at least go to like juvie or something? Like, does the whole family cover it up? Like, that's weird. But I think that has some merit to it. Yeah, I think Michael. I think yeah, I agree with that. Heard someone say Chris hid Birdley's body in that server closet. Even if you check it in like the pacifist run, they mention that you could fit a body in there. So I definitely think that's a fair theory. Yeah, I like to see how far my conclusions can jump like an Olympic sport. See if you can get any medals from it. Yeah, connected to the bunker, the rumors going off how the responses, but Chris, some connection to the rumors. I was reading someone else speculating that, like, what if in this universe the humans were locked underground instead of monsters? It's like, what if that door opens and like humans try to rampage? Even if by accident, Noel's mom could only see, yeah, that Noel killed her and nothing else and can't see past that. That would be a hard pill to swallow no matter how it happened. But surely she can only cast magic in the dark world? Like, I would think so, but it might have just been snow related somehow. I don't know. Maybe it was covered up. Noel's mom still hates her for it. Sans exists, and I assume it's the same Sans from Undertale because of the machine behind his house in Undertale. Both paths should be canon, right? Yeah, I'm assuming it's the same Sans too. Because it's like you see Sans with people that you don't recognize. I have to assume that these are the people that you don't recognize. Oh, Queen also mentioned the lack of her people after Snowgrave. Maybe Chris went into the bunker area in the past and emerged horrified, claiming that the rumors were true. Explain why they say, "You gonna be a weenie like Chris?" Yeah, clearly Chris was once scared by whatever's in there. Chris gets spooked by the book about humans. Also seems to be the only human. Yes, that does seem to be the case. Something's off about that. Yeah, funny how quick we accept the world where there are no humans. Yeah, just one. Just one that can rip their heart out at will. Because that's a normal human trait. You can just rip your own heart out and put it somewhere else and still move around. Yeah, and then whatever crazy stuff happens at the carnival. Because I imagine there's going to be a way to kill somebody every given run now. That'd be even wackier if you have like a couple of chapters and you can't even deviate. It's just something that happens like 2, 3 times. Like, I'm expecting it to be commonplace now, but maybe it won't be. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chris definitely looks like a taller version of, Frisk, Kara, whatever however you wanna call them. Maybe in Undertale, Chris was the knight that trapped the monsters underground. In Undertale's timeline. I'm trying to think, like, could it even, like, be feasible that this is just in not the distant future, but far enough in the future? Because you can have Toriel essentially adopt you, right? The only thing is like Asriel doesn't come above ground, but Maybe in this case he would. I don't know. Thought that every chapter would be a different building per chapter, but there seems to be no unable to open doors anymore. What do you mean? Like, what would stop us from going and say, like I know I couldn't go in the flower shop or anything, but I was still able to go into the restaurant. I go to the Sans' convenience store. You can go to the hospital, although I'm not anticipating there being a dark world in the hospital, but I don't know. Yeah, good old hearts, they're useful, but no way. Yeah, essential organ. Yeah, who needs you? Who needs a heart? Toriel takes the book about how to raise human multiple times from the library. Yeah, showing humans are uncommon. This will be Chris trying to work around the rules of the world he is placed in. Yeah, for example, manipulation, whatever else can be found. Yeah, because if your choices don't matter, but you can make other people's choices matter. Any theories on what exactly the angel's heaven is? I have no idea. Exactly what happens if the prophecy is fulfilled and you destroy it. The heart is the will, and when Chris removes it, he functions on desire doing whatever. Not really thinking straight. I can't wait for them to explain what that whole deal is. My mind is moving a mile a minute thinking about this. But I only but I only ever got B's in math. Weird, huh? I was good at math until like high school. Then all my math teachers were awful, so I just stopped paying attention. Like that's the impact a bad teacher can have. Oh, here's this student that's good at this thing, but here's teachers that are so awful they're now bad at the subject. Kind of tying back to, the control thing. Titan theory is probable because we're looking down on them. Yeah, like we are tall, huge beings watching over the adventure. Yeah, like I think that sounds quite valid, and I hadn't even considered that because we would be gigantic compared to them. Looking down to them, they can't see us. If Azrael was always the angel in the prophecies, common theme prophecies can be written wrong. Yeah, Azrael is Ralsai, but using the excuse that he's at college, and that's why he doesn't get turned into stone. Any theories about future Dark World locations within the town? Seen some people suggest the diner, as well as either the cemetery or the church. That bunker area. Oh, that there's no way that bunker is not going to be a dark. I will be shocked if that would be the biggest red herring of all time if that bunker is not a like what a troll move that would be if that bunker has no dark world in it or something like dark world equivalent, real world dark world stuff. But yeah, I'm thinking someone had mentioned the flower shop's probably a candidate. I'd be interested to see the convenience store be a dark world and Sans being involved in that at all. Because I'm not expecting Sans to just be like a comic relief character with zero purpose. It's possible. I cannot see that though. He's kind of too popular among other things. Yeah, and the festival unto itself. Yeah, yeah. A bad few teachers ruined my love for the subject permanently. Maybe Chris wants to be free like Jevil and the rest, but as we saw when we release the puppet, they die. It's the reason Chris puts the hearts back in the body to avoid death. Yeah, maybe it's just he only keeps they only keep it in long enough to live until whatever their scheming takes place. Because really, this like I would think this heart's only really been in Chris since chapter 1, or has there been other stuff going on before that we don't know about? See from Alvin the Well, religion exists in Deltarune. Concepts such as admitting your sins isn't a thing. Okay, from the story about Azrael going to Alvin. I think the bunker will have an important moment, but overall, I think it'll be a red herring. I mean, Toby Fox would do something like that. But I also think it would be kind of unfulfilling if it was just like, haha. But yeah, if it was important, it would certainly circumvent that. It's like, fine, it wasn't a dark world, but something like pivotal. There he has to have a purpose. Yeah, maybe we try to manipulate him, but it doesn't work, and we get Sans Battle V 2.0 EXE execute. Doesn't Spamton call Noel Angel during Snow? I don't know. Could Noel's cast of Snowgrave some sort of divine intervention? Be more like the lab in Undertale? Oh, like the true lab? Could be. Because if we information about Gaster in this entire game, what the hell? Like, maybe we'll get a sequel to all of this at the end of it all. I can't imagine the story can continue past this. Bye, Red Fox. Heart, yeah, the heart's the connection between Chris, the player. Like, yeah, like with the puppet with the strings. Strings are cut, the puppet dies. The heart is killed, so is Chris. 100% betting the bunker is nothing like we expect it to be. I'm not even really sure what to expect. Like, I envision it basically being like, here's Undertale's world. Like, you just basically walk down from, like, basically where Undertale ends. Like, walk down from there. So I don't know. There's a FNAF reference in Chapter 1 when you talk to the Icy mascot. I did not know that. What was the reference, Michael? Maybe Chris has to pay a heavy price to be free. General consensus seems to be that after the ending of Chapter 1, Chris snuck off to the library and created the... Somehow that didn't occur to me. Of Chapter 2 and going off Chapter 2's ending. Chris is the knight. But yeah, if he's like made a dark world right in his house, their house, pardon me. Presumably this pattern will continue and Chris will make each dark world, yeah, we visit. Well, that was just kind of like, slapped right in front of her face this time around, I guess. That must be what's going on. Curious what the motives will wind up being. You can look it up. There's a video on it. Okay. We'll have to check it out. Yeah. Undertale was the real Part 1 of Deltarune. We just escaped the Dark World. Real lore question. What is a Pipis? A Bepis? I'm not sure. Like, they seem to be eggs. But within the context of the game, I'm not sure. Were they even in Chapter 1? I don't remember there being a Pipis. Any of them in Chapter 1. I'm not even sure if I saw any in Chapter 2, because I didn't Snowgrave it. I think this game is going to throw a prequel chapter, like of Chris and Azrael before he went to college. That'd be cool if that wound up happening. Get a little more context for everything that's going on. What if we do get to chapter 7 and it still isn't actually the end? What if there winds up being 10 chapters? Are there enough buildings in town for there to be 10 chapters? Probably. Like strictly buildings, even though the place like the cemetery's fishy. Like maybe the beach, I don't know. And then there's the whole area where there's like the locked gate. Is that like the way out of town? It's like right by your house, I think. There's like that locked gate. Like, do you think we're ever going to get to go through that gate, or is that just their way of being like, this is how you get in here? You don't get to leave. This is how you get in here. This game is going to throw a prequel chapter. I read that. I would think that both routes are canon. Chapter 3 will be a breakdown of printer lore. Confirmed. I always laugh every time I see that hidden Easter egg. Where you go in that one back alleys, yeah, only to be run over by a funny dog in a toy car. Yeah, but also runs over the game over. Wonder if there's any feasible way that you could dodge that. You probably can't. But like, how does it work in chapter 1? Like, you can't actually kill anything in chapter 1. But is there like an upper limit on how high of a level you can get? Because like, what if you just grind in level 1 forever? Like, could you hypothetically have so many hit points that you can like walk through the dog running you over? Or do you even gain hit points with levels? I haven't tried to level up in any of the Deltarunes yet, so I don't know if that's even how it works or what the max is. Could Gaster have made Chris? I don't think that's too unlikely. Have a simulation for Kara's soul to merge with Chris and tries to bring them back because of the heartbreak of the Dreamer family. He's trying to reverse. Yeah, it could just be like a simulation. It's more interesting to see how Toby's made all these people manipulate Noelle. Yeah. To see the bad end. Yeah, which is, I think we can almost all agree that it's worse than like what you do in Undertale. What's my favorite location? I really like the Cyber City. I think yes. So far, that would also be my favorite. Like the chapter 1 city was like a good introduction. But the area I seek regarding that gate is that it's the entrance to Noelle's house. Oh. And that her mother is the mayor, since that stated that Noelle's mother is busy and that the mayor is a busy person. Oh, okay. Oh, that's even more interesting because like if she's the mayor, she might even have like more um resources, I guess you could say, to cover up a murder if Noelle murdered her sister. That would make more sense. Yeah, the Pippies are the balloon things in the chapter secret boss fight. Okay, yes, I did see them. Yes. I forgot about that part. The Scampton shooting them and you were throwing them at me, I have to shoot them. I don't think you get hit points. Probably because you don't actually kill anybody. Yeah, I wasn't sure how that worked. Pandora's Palace and Giga Size are absolutely amazing songs. I don't know the names of any of the songs yet, but I presume Giga Size was during the Punch Out fight. And the Spampton fight, the Spampton Neo fight has pretty good music. Toby Fox, I'm a broken record saying this, but he's such a, and like, stop the presses. Toby Fox is an amazing, talented musician, but just never ceases to amaze me. The quality he keeps putting out musically. Be interesting to kill Dark. I don't understand. I don't feel like it would be that hard to get Susie to kill stuff. Like Twister Rubber Arm. Like you had to fight to make her not kill stuff before. So like what could she possibly kill that would give me that feeling in the pit of my stomach? I don't want to know. I don't want to find out. Bite someone's face off. She bites someone's face off in the dark world, and back in the real world someone's face is eaten off. Gets expelled. JPA, I'm just speculating about Deltarune stuff, talking for a bit. I didn't have the energy to do a stream tonight, so I thought I'd just chat for a bit. Try to do a stream tomorrow night. A Vidya game stream, where I play the Vidya games. The reason Chris manipulated Noel was because in part 1, yeah, the enemies ran away after they were defeated. In part 2, Noel's ice powers, they couldn't run. Yeah. Wonder how it'll work later on. I'm sure they'll figure something out. Here's how the rest of the chapters will be released. It's been stated 3, 4, and 5 are currently in production, but knowledge there's been no comments on whether they'll be released all at once or one at a time. I've heard people say that chapters 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be released together, and chapters 6 and 7 are going to be released together. I don't remember where I read that. Like, I don't think I've read anything official that said that. Be gory as hell. Yeah, Susie just actually straight killing stuff. Yeah. The problem is, if Susie did it, she would like it too much. Like, it's been a fight to pull her away from that, so, like, it wouldn't take much. I don't think it would take much convincing to get her to smash stuff into, bloody confetti. I think she's coming around. She even started learning healing magic. Oh, yeah. She may change over the chapters to become less aggressive. I think that pie eating joke was from that one animation. Chris screaming at 4 a.m. As far as I know, the only info we've actually been told, the chapter 3, 4, and 5 are currently being produced. A lot of people seem to assume that means they'll be released together. I mean, I would love for them to be released together. I don't want to wait 2 years between. Nobody. I don't know if Fox wants to wait 2 years between. Like, I'll be pushing 50 by the time the whole game's released, if it takes 2 years between chapters. Like, I want to wait for quality, but at the same time, it's like, come on. I don't want to pay for a special edition of this game with my pension check. But if it has to, so the games are quality, then hey, maybe we'll get like one per year. If we can expect one per year from this point on, I couldn't really complain about that. If the games stay good, I can't complain about it. But these games are great. I don't want to have to wait that long to see how this all turns out, this madness. At the moment, it's only a desire among the fans. Susie would revert back to how she was before the Dark World, so it'd be more easy for her to start killing things. Maybe Chris creates the fountains to be what he couldn't in reality. Are they all just like are all these dark worlds going to be a manifestation of one of the people? Maybe that's how it's going to work. Like in chapter 1, that was like a manifestation of Chris's desires. In chapter 2 it was a manifestation of Noel. Chapter 3 it might be a manifestation of Toriel. Wonder if one of the rules that might be you can't interfere with Susie. Therefore you manipulate Noel to manipulate Susie. Now we just need a much at this point. Prior to this, people thought it had been confirmed there were 5 chapters. There's easily 7. Yeah, now. No idea where this thought came from, but it seems to have been pretty common among the fans. The reveal that there would be 7 chapters coming is a big shock to them. Welcome back, Joe. Sans House at Dark World? I would love that. Get more details on Sans' whole deal. And surely there's no way we're going to get to the end of all this and not lay our eyes on Gaster. But like if it's basically just him working on it himself, like these things are very laborious, like working around the clock. So you can't really fault the guy if if it takes time for the stuff to be released. Yeah, that'd be obvious for a Dark World. I would love it. Obvious or no. I feel like one's gonna be there. Yeah, and I couldn't imagine Sans just being like, I'm a minor character. I'm still a funny guy, but I'm just a minor character now. Well, like, yeah, I guess if you go back to where Scampton's door was after beating him, there's like a bunch of salesmen there, and you can talk to them. Some of them make Gaster references. What could Gaster really do in this story? Well, if he's like the one that's like really pulling the strings. Because when you use the cell phone when you're in the Dark World, it's presumably Gaster talking. Yeah, pretty sure Gaster will be a neuter nut dealer unrelated to Deltarune or Undertale. Imagine one of the enemies being a giant bottle of ketchup. What would his motive be? Some sort of experimentation with, darker yet darker. And darker still. There's a lot of like hidden stuff in Undertale that seemed to be setting something up, but then nothing ever really came of it. So for Toby Fox to like can still and not come out with anything in regards to Gaster, it would just seem. I think we'll get some answers eventually. Might tie it all together. Yeah. Yeah, you hear the garbage sound also. And I'm sure some other stuff I still also haven't found out. Just hasn't situationally happened yet. Yeah, Chris could know Gaster, or at least know of him. Could be another reason why we can call him. What I don't understand, that just reminded me. Like, you know how in chapter 1 Sans can give you his number? Why don't I have his number in chapter 2? Am I just supposed to write that off as haha silly Sans? Or is that like an oversight? I think I should still have his number. And I wonder how much Lancer dialogue I missed. Yeah, what does Lancer even say? Like, because you wouldn't release Lancer during that playthrough. So, like, after you kill Birdley, what do you suppose Lancer says? I mean, there's one way to find out. I'd prefer not to, but there's one way. And, like, you would feasibly be able to talk to him all the way up to, like, past the Queen. To him once you're in the real world again. So I wonder what kind of information you might be able to get from Lancer during all that evil doing. Yeah, it could be a glitch, oversight, or a story thing. Yeah, psych, that's the wrong number. Well, you talk to him in chapter 1, though, don't you? Or you can if you call the number. Or was it the wrong number? I don't remember right now. Frisk Asgore fight said your journey's finally over, so Frisk got Chris for a replacement. Yeah, that'd be interesting if you eventually run into Frisk. Frisk. Maybe Chris could have discarded Sans' number when he ripped their soul out, regarding it useless. I'll accept that as a possibility. A lot of tissue boxes. Well, you never want to run out of tissues. There's nothing worse than needing a tissue and not having one. There was a sale and like there was like a box of 12 pack of tissues for not a lot of money, so I'm like, I'm just gonna have tissues for a while. Is the underground now a dark world? I don't think so. I don't think so, but it'd be interesting if it wound up being one. How you doing, Alan? Yeah, and just ate the pie because it was right there. Yeah, didn't want to share the pie. The most offensive thing that they did. Am I the one who finds Deltarune Chapter 2 a little underwhelming? Do you know about the Snowgrave Run, Alan? Read into that and tell me if you still find it underwhelming. Even before that, I wasn't underwhelmed by it. It pretty much lived up to my expectations, personally. Because I don't know if you know, Alan, but they more or less found Deltarune Chapter 2's genocide run. There's basically a genocide run in Deltarune Chapter 2. It's sort of there's not really an official name for it yet. In the files, it's called the Weird Run, but I've been calling it the Snowgrave Run. Mega Harvestgaster, don't tell anybody. It'll be quite the reveal when it's me all along. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, Alan, if you haven't heard about like type in Snowgrave Run into YouTube or Reddit or Google or anything and just look into it. There's a, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, this is presuming you don't want me to spoil it for you. But like just bear in mind I've been spoiling everything this stream, so if you want to look into it yourself, I'll give you a fair warning, but then I'll get back into it a little bit. Then I could give you a brief synopsis of what it is. Maybe because the characters are technically different in Undertale than Deltarune. So Undertale, yeah, could be a dark world. That could be interesting. You basically get to play through Undertale again, but it's like a new game plus type of, not new game plus, but randomizer almost. Better play it myself instead of the silent let's play thing I saw. Okay, because I skipped one thing or two. You'll probably have a, do you want me to explain how to start this run? I won't let you know what happens, but I can tell you more or less how to get it kickstarted. Just let me know. What if you're existing in the pacifist route of Undertale after completing so you're saying that it's like the soulless pacifist one? Really curious about the off-screen conversation between Ralsei and Chris from Chapter 1. I don't remember that. After completing the prison section of Susie, we cut back to Ralsei and Susie, with Ralsei finishing off whatever they were saying with, so that's why, okay, Chris? Oh, still no idea exactly they discussed while they weren't present. Okay, that's always appreciated. Man, let's hear it. Say it. Okay, Alan, if you want to do the Snowgrave Run, when you're in the cyber world, just play as normal, however you want, until you get Noelle in the party. As soon as you get Noelle in the party, go back. Go back as far as you can go, and make sure that you free. She has a spell called Ice Shock, and you can freeze enemies in place with it. Make sure that you freeze every enemy you see in place with this item. A little bit later, you'll find a dumpster. You might find a dumpster, but a little bit later, there's a dumpster. There's some highways, and you can find a dumpster that tells you that if you basically freeze, it'll tell you like 4 left or whatever. If you get to the dumpster and it says 4 left, you're on the right track. But basically, once you freeze everything in place, the dumpster will give you a certain item, so you can complete the Snowgrave Run. If you want me to be even more specific than that, I will, but, like, I'm keeping it a little secretive in case you wanna experience it on your own to an extent. I think Kara loves more about killing rather than experience. Yeah, love. Since there's no mention of it needing or wanting execution points, only wanting to murder. Yeah, could be Kara being an actual sadist. Yeah, likewise, Christopher Smith. Thanks for stopping by. You have yourself a good night. That was deliciously cryptic like Undertale. You say its name's Snow? Snowgrave. It's tentatively being called the Snowgrave Run. That's what I'm calling it. But yeah, normally if you kill enemies in Deltarune, they run away, but with this character, you can freeze them in place. And that's how you kill them. There's a few dialogue choices you also have to make, but if you have, like, Genocide Run in mind, I shouldn't need to guide you through that. You can be like, "Oh, this is the asshole thing to do, so I'll say this." And you'll get it. Do that then. Okay. I'm gonna go to bed now. See you maybe tomorrow. Alright, Joe. Sleep well. Thanks for stopping in. Should I play through as normal the first time or go straight for Snowgrave? I'd say play through normal first. Beefcake, what's going on? I see what you mean. I mean, unless you're okay with just going to Snowgrave. Yeah, no, I would say do normal the first time. It should make certain battles a little easier. Half-hearted. Oh, is this the asshole thing to do? Well, yeah, it's just once you get going with it, it's kind of obvious what you're supposed to, like the verbal prompts you're supposed to give. It's kind of obvious the ones you're supposed to give once you get rolling. If you've done the genocide route, yeah, the Lard incident of 2021. Yeah, I don't really want to do it. Like making her do it instead of doing it yourself. I only say that because it's a fictional character and it's not like they actually have any choice. Hey, Mark, what's going on? I mean, it's still sick because she's so impressionable and you use that to her advantage to do horrible things. It's one boss Canadian flag pillow behind you. Thank you. I got that several Canada days ago and I kind of display it sometimes. Then people are like, I think I know where that guy's from. Be funny. I'm like from Brazil. I'm just live in Brazil for some reason, but have a Canada flag. I'd be playing Genesis all the time if I was in Brazil. Oh, just in the restroom, hiding. There's nothing to do at the moment at work. Hey, if you have a minute, you can catch a breather, then do it up. I mean, if you're in the restroom, you're probably not going to get caught. So, if you're getting caught doing anything in the restroom, there's bigger issues than whatever you were doing in the restroom. Oh, watch from Florida, right on. OMG, Mega Harv Canadian confirmed. Oh, I'm Canadian, eh? Isn't the lore in these Toby Fox games on another level? Oh, there's so much to sift through. And like the more I read it, it's like so much of this seems plausible to me. It's like there's so many different directions this could go. Yeah, Noelle has a weak constitution, so she's a real easy target to manipulate. Yeah, and like what does doing this mean that you can you're just getting better at manipulating people? Relying on imagination to get me through this boring shift. I've been there, working graveyard shifts and stuff. Probably understand what oh, I get you. There's nothing worse than being at a job where there's nothing to do, but they still expect you to look busy. It's like, how about I just don't look busy? Like, if I have to be here and you know there's no work for me to do, why do I have to look busy? Like, I wouldn't mind if someone's like, no, there is work to do. Here's this actual important thing to do. Okay, fine. I didn't realize. Instead of, oh, wash the walls. Then an hour, like half hour later, now what I do? Wash the walls again. No. Wash my ass with your tongue every half hour instead. I feel you. PSI videos. Mother 3 forever. Oh yeah, Mother 3's sick. I'm not counting on us ever getting it out here, but I want it. I want it. Nintendo, give it to me. So much lore, yeah. Surprised one person thought of it all. Born in 91. Rad. Back in my day, we had Star Fox. Oh, I hear you with Star Fox and Castlevania. I had Star Fox for Super Nintendo, but my favorite one's the N64 one. I played that one to death. I did a stream of it a few months back, or a few years back, I mean. Didn't play until more recently, past year. Yeah, like The Office. Do we have any theories about certain events in the game that we should be looking forward to? Ones that immediately come to mind are whatever the festival is, Azrael coming home, in the end. The group project, anything else? I don't know if it's considered like an event, but like Is Noelle's dad ever going to get out of the hospital? I also heard that if you do the queen fight, like the pacifist queen fight, but you beat that fight by fighting, when you go back into the real world, like Birdley will be alive, his arm's going to be numb, and he's like in a cast or something, or has to get a cast. So that means there's like 3 different paths that Birdley can go down. Yeah, are there any other events? And then talking to like Onion San every day. I didn't think to wait on the beach when I did chapter 1, so I didn't get to hear what they said in chapter 2. So I don't know what kind of rabbit hole that's going to be. Yeah, Halloween coming up. We might. I'm expecting Deltarune to be chapter 2 to be released on consoles Halloween. Why would Birdley's arm be numb? I assume that his arm got hit during the battle, but like I only read about it. I didn't watch any videos or anything. That's my guess. Or wing, I guess. Does he have anything to do with Queen's final boss fight? Yes. Well, like before the punch out fight, it's like he's attached to like one of those face sucking wires, and you have to like free him, but you can also like smack the wire off of him. And I guess you hurt his arm somehow. Yeah, stay busy. Yeah, goes to the restroom. Yeah. How's that for busy? You can't say I'm not busy right now. He's about to create another fountain. Oh, right, yeah. That might be it. Some one of the future Dark World themes will be a carnival. Well, if they're gonna have the festival, I think that's a fair guess. Undertale was really amazing to play on Switch. I hear there's an extra boss fight in the Switch version. I was gonna do videos cataloging that one and the PS4 stuff. Like I was doing those Undertale short videos, but I got burnt out from it. They took too long to make, and they weren't driving enough traffic. So I'm like, I can't justify this. The Deltarune stuff I've been posting by and large has been doing buddy. But like it's not like the stuff I was pointing out up until I stopped, I wasn't exactly setting the world on fire. Like it's a lot of it's pretty common knowledge. I just more want an excuse to roleplay as Sans because I posted that one Undertale video and I had like I don't know how many, but a lot of people be like, "You sound like Sans." I'm like, "What?" Okay. Well, I had a few people be like, "Are you Sans?" And I'm like, "Yep," because I thought they were just joking. It's like, "Yep, that's me." Till someone's like, "Undertale comics." I'm like, "Wait, do you think I'm someone else?" And then I looked up one of the videos in question, and I see how someone who doesn't know me would think that I could possibly be that person. So I thought, well, maybe if I make like a short video series pretending to be Sans, those might get views. I couldn't have been more wrong. I probably could have posted videos of me recording my wall, not even paint drawing, just a short 1 minute video of my wall doing nothing, those probably would have got more views. No one has to watch this stuff. I'm not saying they do. It just, why kill myself for a content idea if it's not performing? Can you give us a pun? I can't really think of, like, maybe if you give me a topic to make a pun about, but just a pun in general, I can't think of one. Hmm? What about beef? Not saying it's bad beef, it just isn't perfect. I missed something. Oh, I understand now. Okay. I was thinking, like, you got what do you have beef with? It's like, oh, you're talking to Beefcake. Now I get it. Well, gotta go now. Okay, good luck. Good luck, Mark. Have an excellent evening. That wasn't even a good, like, egg pun. I could have scrambled for a better one. Good luck with looking busy at work. Why do cars rest on the side of the road? They're tired. Marvel plays Sans in the Undertale live action Netflix limited series. Yeah, that's what'll happen. In all seriousness, like, if part of the problem now is I don't even have time if I wanted to, but I should go on, like, casting call club website and be like, "Hey, I'll be your Sans for a like this volunteer like fanfic thing." Hey, Karma Jolt, they just found out about the genocide run that's in Deltarune Chapter 2. And in my opinion, it's worse. It's worse than the genocide run. That's what we've been talking about most of the night. Dropping by to say goodnight. Have a great day or night. All right, Gabrielle. Hey, thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing all right. Just some regular dude who's questioning why we do things the way we do. Nothing wrong with asking questions. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. If someone gets mad at you for asking questions, well, they just don't have an answer. Worse in what way? It's worse in that rather than you're doing it, you manipulate someone else to do it. You stand there and defend, and you make Noel freeze people to death. I would tell you more, but, like, I don't know if you. I mean, I'm trying not to be like. I'm kind of operating the stream under the assumption of, like, spoilers are okay, but, like, I'll give you a fair chance if you don't want to hear the full breadth of it. What's the difference between a politician on a bicycle and a clown on the unicycle? One wheel. Criticism against capitalism tends to be a touchy subject. So showing signs of backing off, yeah, tends to disarm conflict. Yeah, I get that. Well, criticizing capitalism, people tend to go just like, well, you commie red person. When I don't think that's even what you're getting at. Like, yeah, capitalism definitely has its flaws. I definitely don't have a better idea. What is four wheels and flies? A garbage truck. At this point, I don't mind spoilers. Okay, so when you first recruit Noel, if you go back to that room where you talk to Spamton, like in his shop, you freeze everyone on the way there, and then freeze everyone on the way back, and get her to do it. Then eventually, when you talk to that salesman who's like, "Oh, you don't want dating shoes, you need divorce shoes," If you froze everybody and you talk to him, he's like, "Do you want this freeze ring?" And you basically get her to like the guy just disappears. I would assume that she would have frozen him, but anyways. After you freeze everybody, when you get to the Birdly fight, sorry, let me back that up a bit. After you freeze everybody, you go back to this dumpster that seems that like Scampton is in. Spampton is in. And he gives you a thorn ring, which not only hurts Noelle, it makes it so her ice magic costs half. Like it doesn't cost as much TP. Then you get to the Birdly fight. So now you have access to a spell called Snowgrave. And the description is it's fatal and it costs 100 TP. So you cast it, you get her to cast it, and she really doesn't want to do it, but you keep telling her to do it. You tell her like 4 or 5 times to do it, and she's like, fine, you want to see me use a spell I don't know how to use? See what happens? So she freezes him to death. And then you get back in the real world, and Birdley's head's just like down on the desk. And if you check his body, it's like he's not awake right now. So you just get her to kill, a friend of hers just for kicks because you can't change anything. You psychologically abused Noelle, so she does. That kind of disturbs me more than what you do in the genocide run. Because in the genocide run, you're a murderer, and that's all there is to it. You're not a saint, but all you care about is killing. Whereas in this case, you're fucking with her head to such a degree to make her do it because you can't do it. Yeah, props to Harrison for proper pronunciation. Punctuation. I should have said pronunciation. Just watching it play out, it just leaves me feeling gross. So now we're just kind of wondering how it's all going to play out from here. Like this is in chapter 2 and you already like killed a classmate. You kill a child bird that was your friend and you were Chris was Noelle's friend before all of this anyway. Like they knew each other. Their parents were friends and you pressure into killing her friend. But then they make it clear that it's not Chris, that it's specifically the player. She says, I hear this terrifying voice that's not Chris. So what the hell's going to happen in chapter 3? You're going to talk your mother into killing somebody? Undyne? I mean, yeah, how many of us played chapter 2 and didn't at least at some point be like, so can I kill this guy? If I kill this guy, it's fine, right? So they made sure to make him real annoying. Just the way it comes out, it's just, ugh. Doesn't feel good. So are you still only going to have one ending? Is there still technically one ending, but the one ending is gonna like if you kill everybody, you're gonna be there by yourself? One ending? Pretty sure everyone wanted to kill Birdley. Yeah. If I didn't directly joke about it, I know I joked when like, right before the Punch-Out fight, that, like, when I was falling and Birdly caught us, I made a joke, like, "I wish you didn't catch us. I would rather be dead." Oxford comma? I don't even know what that is. It's not a semicolon, is it? But yeah, I've just been kinda reading about it all day. We'll only have to wait another 2 years to see how this pans out. And I only kinda stumbled across it just because I saw a Reddit post where it had, like, Noelle saying stuff, but also showed, like, a picture of Undertale Genocide Run. I'm like, "What's this even mean?" Then I read into it more, and I'm like, "Oh, lovely." At this time, like, I did the Genocide Run. I do not wanna do this run. But I was saying earlier, I'm wondering if you can just get the items you need to kill Birdly, but just don't do it. And then you have the items, but you don't do that. Yeah, my head in a jar will see the finale, yeah. And there's a different boss fight at the end too, or rather you fight Spamton by yourself rather than with your party, which does look more difficult. Like, I would probably actually die a few times if I were to do that fight. Just less healing to go around. You can only take a couple of hits and then it's game over. Who's Spamton anyway? Seems like some version of Metaton in some way. Well, I just ran out of steam out of nowhere. And what pulled his strings? I would assume Gaster, but I don't know. Because he does have, like, the garbage noise, the phone, and, like, garbage noise comes out of it. Be nice to see the Descent into Madness characters take. Yeah, as Chris manipulates and forces them to kill monsters. Hey, Ray Unit. Well, I'm curious how, like me just thinking about, like, how he could manipulate his mother into killing someone for some reason. Like, that's messed up on another level. Like, there's some people that would be, like, especially messed up. Like an Alphys or even Asgore. Because it's your fucking dad. Oh, we're just kind of discussing some Deltarune stuff because they found the genocide route that was in chapter 2. We've just been kind of chatting about it. I do feel like Snowgrave Run is more verbal abuse rather than manipulation. There's pressuring for sure. Yeah, I don't know if like manipulation's the right word, but it's like I don't want to do this, do it. I don't want to do it until she just does it. Like just because in this instance she has no agency. Like she's not like a Susie who would just be like, "Or I'm not going to listen to you." Maybe Toriel will die in chapter 3. Like Birdley probably did. Well, like, are we going to convince Susie to kill Toriel? Maybe. When it was brought to my attention that the police are probably coming to the house in chapter 3, I'm inclined to think that someone's going to kill Undyne. And it's either going to be Susie or Toriel. I'm inclined to think Toriel, but I don't know. What if chapter 3 has full voice acting? I will be surprised. I would not expect it. Hope it's good, is all I have to say. How long do you think it's going to take to get that platinum trophy, Rayuna? But she's undying. Yeah, you'd really have to pressure whoever's killing her to actually do it. Go in the dark world with Asgore, and at the end, Asgore recognizes who his son has become in his head. So you find some way to kill Asgore. I wouldn't be that surprised. Who will bake the pies now? That's the true travesty. No pies can be made. Oh, you just looked up this. It's bad, isn't it? Like I laugh because I don't know what else to do. Like I felt legit bad reading about it. Like I felt things. Looks brutal. Yeah. Like talking about it's one thing, but to like see it play out, it's like this is really bad. I don't want to do it at all. I kind of want to. I was saying earlier, I kind of want to go through it, but stop short before killing Birdley. Just on the off chance you can keep the items, but it like is beneficial later in the game somehow. Literally drinking vodka and Diet Coke in a Toriel etched glass. Oh, where'd that even come up? No more pie. It's a real tragedy of this game. Yeah, just like within the context of the game, because I keep going back to like, well, she should just be able to say no, but it's like she can't. It's a video game. So you're pressuring to do this thing. She makes clear she doesn't want to do all this stuff. Then you make her kill her fucking friend. It's not like you killing some monster you just met in Undertale. Like, don't get me wrong, when I got to the end of Undertale, I didn't feel good about completing the genocide run. But like within the context of the character, it's just the main character is just killing all the stuff for the sake of killing rather than being like what Machiavellian. Like, how do you even? I think that's a bit. I don't think that's the right word, but it's like why the mind games. Hi, Speedy. Hey, buddy. Long time no see. But yeah, I've been reading about this all day. I've just been taken aback. Kind of want to see it when people say something was awful. Weird part of me wants to see it. I mean, if you just Google, like or YouTube, I mean, like Snowgrave Run, there's several videos detailing the whole thing. I watched it too. Like I can see solace in the fact that they're fictional characters. It's not like this is happening to real people. But like, I still didn't find it was like an easy watch. It was uncomfortable. Yeah, Speedy was just having a nap on a pile of like I have a laundry like where I keep all my clothes. He was just one of them is his nest that he just sleeps in. That's where he was for the stream. Then he woke up and he's like, "Oh, there's my human." Oh, does that head scratch feel good? After all this doom and gloom talk, get a little Speedy the cat in her life. Buddy. Oh boy. I mean, I guess it's up to debate with if one's worse or not, but like so far I'm finding this one worse. There's more it feels like there's more thought gets put into it rather than I kill everything in front of me. Like you kind of have to scheme a little bit to be like, "Wait, I can't kill stuff. Oh, this character has stuff I can freeze people with. I can get her to do it because I can't." To get every item in the game to get the last trophy, but have to do some mini games to get some items. That sounds like it's going to take a while. It was an impulsive Redbubble purchase. Oh yeah, I love Goat Mom. First time I played Undertale, I killed her and had to restart everything. Yeah, Flowey's still new. How'd you feel about that? Because you probably didn't know that beforehand. How'd that make you feel that Flowey's like, I know what you did? I feel like Snowgrave is objectively worse, solely because with the Frisk, you kill either for one. Yeah, the same of killing or two to see what will happen. If I could use elemental magic, what would I choose? That's a good question. My default goes to like lightning. Probably just because that's like the closest thing to like a Dragon Ball Z like energy blast. I have a gut feeling you would also be lightning. Oh, he's purring. You probably can't hear that though. It's a helpful NPC thing. I mean, yeah, she's helpful, all right. God has blessed us with his presence. I read that. That's hilarious. I read that like that. Speedy has blessed us with his presence. Can we choose two at the same time? Sure. Yeah, even if you apply that same logic to Snowgrave, you still force Noelle into killing everyone and her yeah, and her lifelong friend. Yeah, that's what makes it a lot worse. I agree. Oh yeah, I for some reason would choose ice if I got to choose. I don't think I'd want to command the power of ice, probably just because I've seen enough Canadian winters. I'm like, get that ice away from me. Earth for me, even better. Oh, and metal is considered Earth. I guess it would be to an extent. It would have to be. It's amazing. Yeah, this is why the series is top notch. Never had a game make me feel guilty. Well, like, how many times have you done that in a game where it's like, I'm gonna, oh, I did this thing I didn't want to do, reset. Where Undertale's like, no, no, okay, fine, you can save her, but I know you fucking killed her. It's like, oh, to be honest, I'd choose wind, but like, I already command some pretty serious wind powers at times, if you get what I'm saying, but for like evil reasons. Would want water and lightning if I can choose to. Otherwise, I would choose ice or lightning. Sometimes it is. Sometimes that's some category. Yeah, yeah, but armor any time is great. Yeah, it's for sure that you could protect yourself under a lot of circumstances. Yeah, water and ice go hand in hand. I mean, you could summon some ice, and then before long, you'll have some water. You wait long enough. Hmm. Trying to think objectively about this, which could help me the most, and how creative I could get. I'm not 100%. Well, I mean, if I could command lightning, like if power went out, there must be some way I could harness that to, so I would have power at least. Like I would just be the electricity. Good lord, it's like midnight here now. I just realized. I should probably wrap this up. I need to try to get some sleep. I didn't actually expect to be rambling for this long. Like right around 50 minutes, I was like, yeah, I'll probably let this. I always do this. Around 50 minutes, I was like, oh, I'll probably go till like an hour and then I'll be done. Now I'm like pushing 3 hours. Want to control heat. Yeah, not fire. Heat. Heat, man. Use my water to get people. Yeah, later, Karma Joel. Thanks for stopping by. GJRL, welcome to the chat. Hello. I don't know you, but I just want to say Snowgrave is probably the scariest fucking thing in the world. Thanks for listening. Oh, it left quite an impression on me, too. I find it way unsettling. Can I be a frog in Chrono Trigger and just command gigantic frogs with a side of water? The element of frogs. Well, I mean, commanded the power of water and had frog squash. I can't remember if it had a star next to it or not, frog squash. I guess that's your answer. Whether you can or not. Yeah. The dark matter is probably the coolest spell ever. Well, I suppose there's like holy and dark too. Like I'll ramble for a few more minutes, but yeah, I really should go to bed. That way I could freeze things and set them ablaze at will. I do like to do just kind of rambly streams sometimes, every so often, something different. I didn't think I had the energy to stream a game tonight, but then I ended up rambling for like 3 hours anyway. Yeah, I love how I went from Snowgrave to various random topics. Like, how does that even happen? It happens. Like, I figured this stream would be more like Deltarune oriented the way I have it titled. Normally for these talking streams, I'm more just like, I'm eating a pizza, come hang out. But yeah, things just kind of go with ebb and flow of conversation. Jazz. I like jazz. I don't go out of my way to listen to jazz, but I like a jazzy number. Yeah, Luminaire. Basically, Chrono Trigger's answer to Ultima. I just think that because of this Final Fantasy VI Ultima, I just see the sphere, or the, I guess it's more like a dome. dome lightning. But yeah, I should probably wrap this up. Tomorrow, I do plan on doing like an actual stream, like a game stream. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet. Like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I'm going to want to play through Deltarune again yet or not. Because part of me wants to, but then I just envision myself playing it again and getting like an hour into it and being like, why am I doing this again? Not that I disliked it by any stretch, but almost feel like I'd be beating a dead horse. Just because I don't want to do like an actual Snowgrave run. I'd be more inclined to play the first one just to see if there's any clues that I missed now that I have more context for the whole story. Let me wrap this up. Yeah, Harv 3 hours ago. I'm the worst for that. But I'm probably gonna. Hey, Secret Drone, thank you for the 149 super sticker. You got a black cat. Drop a lard for that. And a speedy. Yeah, I really do need to definitely checking out Snowgrave after this, yeah. But God, I know I'd feel so bad. Even just reading about it, I was like, yeah. But then I just couldn't resist and just kind of kept diving into it and reading more and more. And now, then I'm like, I want to stream just talking about it. Yeah. Well, it's not like you did it to like a character who's like a complete asshole either. Like, she's a sweet girl. Which, in order for it to have the impact, you kind of had that's kind of who it had to happen to. Like, if you got Birdley to kill someone, even if like Chris made them do it, everyone would be like, "Well, fuck you, Birdley, piece of shit." Instead, they went the other way around, where it's like made the nice girl kill her lifelong friend that we all dislike. But I don't want to say no, but because there's definitely people who are like, "Good, I'm glad he's dead." And again, it's a game, but like I think the people saying that didn't really see the full context of what happened. If they saw the full context and still feel that way, well, that's still. Anyways, I'll probably be online again tomorrow around 80 for whatever it is I decide to play. I got to be up early all this week, so I'll do some streaming early. So thanks for stopping by, folks, and just chatting for a bit. That was a good chat. Yeah, Ramble Steams are just the best, man. So yeah, start talking about a game. Yeah, I moved the Lord of the Flies. I mean, anytime I end up doing a talking stream, I'm like, I should do these more. But then I get so obsessed with like, oh, I got to get through this game, and I don't want to set aside a certain like chat day stream either. Anyways, I am actually going to wrap this up. So don't forget the lard, everyone. I should be back on with a gaming stream tomorrow. And yeah, if you're interested about the Snowgrave stuff, now you know if you didn't before. So have a good night, everyone. Sleep well if you can sleep after this nightmarish revelation. Here's some cat. Cat. Come back. Come back, Speedy. Your body. Buddy.